Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today at this Study Abroad information session. Today we'll be talking about study abroad and answering your questions and talking about multiple opportunities that you can apply for. But first, let me start by introducing our presenters today, and I would start with our main speaker today, Ms. Svetlana Volkova. Ms. Svetlana, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Svetlana Volkova, and I'm a manager of international business development and projects at Georgian College. And as Barrie has mentioned, that we are today here to speak about exchange opportunities for students. And I will have my word a bit later. So back to you, Barrie.
Thank you. Thank you, Svetlana. All right, let me introduce myself. I'm Barrie Subra. I'm an international programming support assistant, and I also work at international office. And today I'm going to talk to you also about the opportunities, our student study abroad opportunities. Later during our session today, we will be also joined by our very special guest speaker, Carol Meisner. She's a professor in business and management, and she will be sharing with us her experience in Europe during a faculty exchange visit that she did recently. Let me go through our agenda today and get this kicked off. So first, I'll be talking to you about why, we'll be answering the question, why study abroad? And next, we will be having a brief discussion about the opportunities that we have and the great funding opportunity also that we can offer to our students that you can make use of. And then our virtual mobility opportunities. And we will be ending with the guest speaker. After the guest speaker session, we will be having a Q&A session where you can ask your questions. And also, by all means, during the session, if you have any question, please feel free to type them in the Q&A section, and we'll try to answer them at the end. Okay, let's get started then. So to answer the question, why study abroad? To make it easier to understand, let me share with you some facts on numbers and on studies conducted in North America. 97% of study abroad students found employment within 12 months of graduation. Students who didn't go abroad, on average, only 49% of them were able to find jobs in 12 months. 90% of study abroad alumni were able to get into the first or second choice in grad school. 80% of those students who studied abroad reported that they adapted better to diverse work environments. And in a study done in Canada, only 34% of employers believe that Canadian youth are adequately prepared for today's workforce. And the same employers believe that if Canadian students were exposed to international experience or study abroad opportunities, they would be able to be better prepared for the workforce. So, what can you get out of study abroad, or why study abroad, and why take the opportunities that we are talking about today? You can acquire global skills required for employment. You can experience top European university education while studying at Georgian. While studying your 1 year, 2 year programs, why not spend a semester in Europe and gain a new experience over there? And over there, you will be able to develop strong international networks and grow your network, meet new people, and get more exposure worldwide. And last but not least, like travel within Europe. As you know, Europe as a continent is not huge. Cities are interesting, and you can travel within Europe easily and explore new places. I'm going to pass on to Svetlana to talk more about the opportunities that we can offer.
Thank you, Barrie. Perfect. So Barrie has already mentioned that we have multiple university partners across the globe, actually. However, today we're focusing on some European university partners that Georgian currently has. You can see on the screen list of countries where we have one to several universities that we work with. And we have had successful experience sending and receiving students, staff, and faculty from those university partners and from those countries. Next slide. We have, of course, multiple options to offer you multiple versions of exchange or mobility programs. However, we do understand that it does require some financial capabilities from students often, and that's not always the case. So we have worked on gaining and solidifying some funds for you to experience mobility opportunities in Europe. So one funding stream is provided by actually European Union to our students, and it's called Erasmus Plus. I'm sure some of you have heard about that before. The program is available to current Georgian students who are in good academic standing. The program is normally for 5 months, which is one academic semester in Europe. However, case by case, it can be extended up to 2 semesters, which is almost the full year of study abroad experience for students. Funding would be different depending on the country where you're going and the school that provides the funding. But it approximately comes to 820 euros per travel expense, which is normally your flight, and 160 euros per month as a scholarship to cover your expenses, accommodation, food, and so on. You also, depending on the country where you're going to, most of you will be eligible for some sort of work authorization in the country. So you would be able to work while you're a student at the host university, which is a great opportunity to gain that work experience and, of course, to make some extra cash for your expenses. Currently, we are promoting Spain and Hungary and the university partners that we have there. And would like to tell you more about those opportunities should you be interested in those specific 2 countries. We just closed a call for a university in Spain that we've been working for a while, and we are sending a couple of students in the fall. However, we will be opening call for January intake very soon, so please keep an eye for that and apply should you be interested. So the same will apply for Hungary. For the student exchange opportunity. We are trying to open application or call for the specific partners 6 months in advance. And we are expecting that students would submit application at least 4 to 5 months before the start date. This is done to have sufficient time for students to apply for visa, as most of you will need to apply for visa for the duration of the stay in Europe, and to have enough time for you to prepare your travels, to get familiar with resources that you should be aware of and so on. So if we are looking to send students for January, let's say, we would be opening the call around September time and expecting you to apply by that time. So please keep an eye for advertisement. The opportunity is, in my opinion, amazing in all ways, and it does mean that you will be an current Georgian student, eligible for all services that our students have access to. But at the same time, you will be a student at the host universities. So that means that you will be you will be able to access all the services at the host university. So that gives you basically an access to much bigger team to assist you. However, you are adults and expected to act as such. Therefore, the responsibility will be on you to make sure that you have all the documents for visas, you have all the travel arrangements, and so on. We will assist. However, you are expected to do some work for that as well. But again, this is a funded opportunity, amazing opportunity to study at university. Most of our university partners are within 1,000 top schools in the world. So please take advantage of that should you be interested in studying in Europe while you're studying in Georgian. Next slide. We also have another amazing opportunity for domestic students specifically. So you have to be a domestic student, current Georgian student, and to be in good academic standing. This funding is provided by Canadian government, and it's a pilot type of funding. So please take advantage of this as well. It provides coverage for up to $5,000 Canadian dollars per semester for in-person mobility, and up to 500 per person for virtual mobility, should you choose to apply. If you self-identify as one of the three student groups that Canadian government is looking to encourage for mobility, such as students with limited mobility, students with Indigenous background, and students with coming from low-income families, the funding is more. So you're eligible for up to 10,000 Canadian dollars per semester for in-person experience, and up to 1,000 per student for a virtual experience. You can take those funds and apply them to any university partner that we have exchange agreement with. Again, today we're talking about European schools, but we also have many agreements in the work within Latin America, Asia, and so on. So please get in touch with us if you're looking for another geographical area, and we will work with you to find a suitable destination. Again, as of now, we're heavily promoting Spain, Portugal, Czech Republic, Hungary, Denmark. Those are the trusted partners that we have, and I'm sure you will enjoy studying with one of the universities in those locations. Next slide. In addition to physical mobility, we also have virtual mobility and some blended version of both. So one blended intensive program, which is called BAP, is a program funded by Erasmus again, so by European Commission. But this program offers you an opportunity to participate in virtual mobility and experience some in-person exchange as well. So what it does, it allows you to enroll within one of the courses that you're taking at Georgian into this project type of work, where 80% of the work you are doing online with in teams, in international teams, and will depend on each opportunity. So currently we're running a program with 7 universities in collaboration. So our Georgian students are working in teams of 6, I believe, but those students are from all over the world, but belonging to those 7 universities. Very interesting project. At the end, so they're doing the work for the duration of 1 semester, all online, based in Canada or home countries where they are. And at the end, students would have an opportunity to participate in short in-person component, which is usually 10 days to up to 2 weeks, in person in the country where the main host university is. And that component is optional, but it will provide you with an opportunity to meet your colleagues, to meet all the professors that are involved in the BAP type of projects, and often to meet industry partners that are also involved in this type of applied work. Very interesting opportunity for you if you are not sure that you are prepared for fully in-person mobility. So please get in touch with us, and we will guide you towards those programs as well. Next slide. Another virtual opportunity that we currently have is Global Leadership in Climate Action Program, which is a short-term 5-week online program delivered over summer, so June 24th to July 29th. Again, completely online, so you don't have to travel anywhere. However, you will be working in an online space with international students from different countries, industry partners, mainly international or Canadian-based, but with international outreach. And the program is built around UNESCO 2030 agenda, which means that you would be working on specific sustainable development goals in international teams again, and will deliver at the end of the 5-week course. You will deliver a solution for a specific issue or problem that will be identified. So for this program, we have Sustainable Development Goal number 13, which is a climate action. And we have an industry partner that will work with us on this. It's a nonprofit based in Toronto. However, their company has an international outreach, so international context will be within the program. So should you be interested in this program, again, please reach out to us. There is a QR code. You can also scan and apply online. If you are a domestic student, this program is also eligible for funding. So you might receive funding to participate in this particular option. Next slide. Just want to mention also that we have other summer short-term exchange programs through CONAHEC, which is a consortium for North American higher education collaboration, based out of North America, but the consortium covers university partners from across the globe. And we currently have 8 programs available for students. They all are short-term. 7 programs are in person and 1 is virtual. Multiple locations, the deadlines and the content of each would depend on specific university partners. So if you are interested in those, also please reach out to us. We will provide more specific details about the program that you're interested in, or by location. Next slide. Okay, so I'm done with my part. I will pass it over back to Barrie, I guess. So he will introduce our guest speaker, and I will also be here for the Q&A session to answer your questions should you have any.
Thank you, Svetlana, for this presentation. All right, so now for our guest speaker session. And now, please join me in welcoming Carol Meisner, Professor in Business Management. Carol recently participated in a faculty mobility where she visited University of Ostrava for 1 week. She will be sharing with us her international experience and give our students valuable advice. Carol, thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Barrie. It's great to be here.
Thank you. I will be starting our conversation with our first question to you. So can you please tell us how your experience at University of Ostrava and your impression of the university?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. It was overall, let me just start. They are absolutely fantastic hosts. So that's, I think, the most important impression I have of the place is the people. Okay, so they're super friendly. They kept talking about, oh, we had this student from this other country and we had this student here. They really get to know people. I think that that warmth is what makes it the strongest reason to be going there. Overall, the university is actually kind of cool because it's one of these really old European cities. They built the university later, so they had to find buildings as they came available. So as we'd be walking around town, all of a sudden, oh yeah, well, that's the philosophy department. Then you walk couple of blocks later, and then there's another old building, and these are all old buildings. It's really cool. And then, okay, this is where science is in, and then you go down another street, and there's another. So the university and the city are all completely integrated. So it's neat, like you're not going to school. The school is right in the middle of town. So just the environment is very different. Like it's not a huge city or anything. So it's nice because it's like comfortable, like Barrie size. But one thing I thought that was really neat about that is you were kind of always around the university. So I thought that was a really neat place. I think the last impression is big, and this was really important to me, but everyone there speaks English. Even when they say they can't, they're just shy. So I think that really helps knowing you're going to a place where in a country that the language of English is so prevalent that you don't have to worry about, oh, am I going to go somewhere and not be understood? As I say, they're just shy if they say they don't.
Thank you, Karen. All right, so my next question is, why do you think Georgian students should select University of Ostrava as a mobility destination?
I think the biggest thing that struck me is it's old Europe, but it's on a budget. So it's really affordable. If you try to go to too big of a city, it's going to get super expensive. So I know like the hotel that I was at was probably half the price. Fantastic hotel, but about half the price you would have in a major European city. So that's kind of the first one that gets me. Second of all, it's a really nice city and like everything's walkable. You can get around. I actually like kept seeing the buses and trains go by, but I could walk everywhere. So that makes it, I mean, that reduces cost as well. Make sure that you're near everything. And the other thing that's cool about that particular location is that, at least the faculty were telling me, that students could easily just take weekend trips. So Prague is a train trip away. Vienna is a really fairly direct train trip. And then there's a small airport nearby. So people were heading off to Budapest or, to Berlin, just using the local airport. So it was kind of the best of both worlds. You have very reasonable price living in a cool old city, but if you had time on a weekend, you could already be in one of those more famous or well-known cities.
Thank you. All right. So you have visited other university partners Georgian has. So about University of Ostrava, what is different about it?
I guess every country has a different vibe to it. So for example, when I was in Denmark, absolutely loved it. Culturally, they're very structured, very rigorous. It's a really nice, I like the culture, but it was super expensive. So that was a completely different factor. So in Czech, I'd say I found everyone that I met was a little bit of a rebel. They're very fun. It's a very practical group. They're very, everything's very affordable. So it was kind of neat that it was just a different vibe. And I really liked it because they're definitely European. So it's not like you're just living in Barrie's culture there, but it's also not completely different either. I found them a little bit rebellious, and I like that.
Thank you. So I think you touched a little bit on that. Maybe you can express further. Tell us about your impression of the university town, Ostrava. How safe is it? How did you feel safe? The weather, the infrastructure?
Yeah, see, I was a single female traveling alone. So I think you hit a key word there is I always did feel safe. There was nothing, the town, it's a beautiful town. It's well lit. It's got beautiful open squares, small parks. It's same kind of weather we have here, but I'd say just a little less snow. So it's a really just a nice, pleasant, pretty place. If you think of old Europe with the cobblestone streets, the really old buildings, yes, they have skyscrapers because I say this isn't backwater, right? It's a very modern city in the sense that they've got, efficient trams going through it. So there are, I guess taller apartment buildings on the outskirts, but I'm thinking of like the downtown where the school is. Super, like I was out every evening and walking alone and never had a sort of a care in the world. As I say, I just want to reinforce, just because the city's old or it's not you know, in the middle of a huge city, it's really still very modern. One of the coolest things I did is I went down to the shopping mall, again, within a walk of town, and they had this cool restaurant where they had a robot delivering your food to you. So I just appreciate that contrast. I don't want people to think, oh, you're going back in time, that you're going to some sort of historical place. It is an extremely modern city. You know, their faculty are cutting edge, and everything is sort of top notch that way. I just realized I kept saying the place is old, and it's like, no, it's not. It's the cool kind of old. And say there's a lot of modern nature to it as well.
Thank you. All right, so my last question is, so why would you recommend Georgian students to participate in this mobility opportunity?
I guess it's always good. I mean, when I went to school, I actually took a work placement overseas, just because it's always good to expand your own personal horizons. But I think that's really good is right now you've got some additional programs that are available. So there is financial support. So let's say my answer is it's always good to do this kind of thing, but it's a better time now that the college has partnered into these sort of programs. And in particular, one thing I appreciate, and maybe I'm talking a little bit about finance. I didn't kind of mention that I'm the accounting teacher, so I do kind of always comes back to money. A place like this is very reasonable to stay. So you're not breaking the budget. So you've got a nice, affordable, livable, walkable place. Lots of nature, right? Literally the other side of the river. There's, you know, walking fields. So kind of a little bit like Barrie that way, where you've got the city, you have everything you need really close by, but within a couple of minutes, you already have that the countryside that you want. So say reasonable price, additional funding that's available to do it. It's always great to study and get all the other information from another school. And again, there's lots of English there. So even though you can, you know, walk around the corner to the pub and hear other languages spoken, you can also be assured that you're not going to be feeling overwhelmed. So I think it's a fantastic place.
Thank you. Would you like to add anything before we wrap this up?
Just that maybe students should remember that we've got an entire college on this side of the pond that's here to help. So if there are a lot of questions, please reach out. I mean, the department's here to support you. I'm available to answer questions. There's lots of people who have been abroad that can help. So if you're even just thinking about it a little bit, take a few minutes, let's talk to a few people and learn a little bit more. It's actually, I say, a really cool experience that would be great if you could take advantage of.
Thank you. Thank you, Professor, for your valuable feedback. We learned a lot from this, so we do value this, and even the students, I think. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's great. I wish everyone luck, and hopefully that they do take advantage of this.
Thank you. All right, so moving on, now we're gonna move to our Q&A session. I would like to call on Svetlana to answer questions. I'll be checking on our questions received.
I saw one question about students' eligibility from other campuses at Georgian. So all Georgian students at all campuses are eligible for the same services, including study abroad opportunities. So please let us know what program you're in, your status, domestic or international student, what country or what university partner, maybe you have a specific one in mind you're interested in, and we would work with you to offer the best options we have, so you're able to benefit from their mobility experience. Hope that answers the question.
Yes, thank you. Any more questions? I don't see any more questions, so I think we're good. If anyone has more questions, please feel free to email us. We'll be responding to you as soon as we can.
Just wanted to reemphasize that we do have multiple options And we would work with every interested student to find, to maximize the funding if we have any, to offer all the services that we can in collaboration with the partner universities. So if you are thinking about studying abroad, just let us know. We will help you.